Welcome and thank you for joining Utah Beer News for the latest in our brief video conversations with local brewers, breweries, everyday imbibers. I'm Tim Herron, the founder of Utah Beer News, and my guests for this episode are Kristen Martino, the marketing manager for Salt Lake Brewing Company, and Libby Taylor, the general manager of the West Side Tavern and beer ambassador for Salt Lake Brewing Company. Welcome, Kristen and Libby.
Thank you, Tim. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to talk with Utah Beer News. I'm excited about this episode because we've got two important topics to talk about. We're visiting with representatives of Salt Lake Brewing Company, which includes Squatters, Craft Beers, and Wasatch Brewery, to talk about cool things happening this week and things that have been in the works for a while. So let's start with a beer release. Everyone always likes to hear about new beers, but this one that you've just released is really much more than a beer. Libby, could you talk a little bit about the background of the Brave Noise Beer initiative?
Yeah, absolutely. So some might know, some might not, that a few months ago, Brianne Allen, who is one of 4 employees at Notch Brewing out on the East Coast, so she kind of just did everything. She had an encounter with a gentleman one day who saw her moving some things around and said, "Can you really be lifting those? Is that something that you can handle?" And so she went to her. I think at that time she had like 5,000 or 6,000 Instagram followers, and just said, "Hey, you guys ever experience sexism like this, like on your day-to-day operations as women in craft beer?" And it snowballed. She got so many responses. I think she's up to like 500,000, and it varies from little statements like that you kind of get on the day-to-day basis to some very serious encounters at Beer Fest or other areas like that. So as we do in this industry, we decided to make a beer to kind of help keep this conversation going, give us an outlet for discussion, and raise some money for associated causes. So about a month ago, Wasatch Brewery got together in Park City with Nils. Kristen was there, a few other employees, some of my fellow Pink Booters, part of the Utah chapter, got together, made this beer. Our funds are going to go to the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition, which does a lot of great work to support women in the state. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, they built a recipe. So Brianne Allen and another influencer under the Genfluence who did the homebrew recipe got together and built this really great wheat-heavy pale ale, hazy, juicy, late additions of Mosaic and Sabro. So it's super delicious. It smells great. So everyone should come try it out.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for that beer, definitely. And like you said, just this one incident that was posted on Instagram just generated so much from the industry. And I mean, it's disturbing to kind of hear how widespread and just pervasive some of the attitudes are toward women in the beer industry, and dismissive and everything. It's just it was nice to be able to shed some light on this, and just from your experience as being someone who's got a lot of experience in the beer world right now, have you experienced anything like that, or do you have any personal I guess anecdotes that is kind of come up all of this that you'd like to share?
I think for me, in my role, I did start out as a server, then a bartender, and then now managing at my tap room. It's a lot of assumptions, incorrect assumptions made about my knowledge, my passion, my abilities. And so I do have to expel a lot of energy to prove myself. It does seem to be, I think, with this movement, especially in the conversations going on, we're dropping those assumptions when it comes to women, people of color, queer people in the tap room, in the craft beer space. I think we're all kind of realizing the importance of making that inclusive and safety just very loud. A lot of noise made about it, and so I think I can feel a little bit of a shift, but it is still just one of those. It felt almost like a normalcy for so long, and I'm so glad it doesn't anymore.
Yeah, yeah. And so Brave Noise beer is something that at last I counted 115, 120 different breweries around the country have brewed this recipe. And maybe talk a little bit about Wasatch's specifically. You mentioned kind of what went into it, but where can people find Wasatch's Brave Noise?
So it is at the West Side Tavern, very proudly on our board. And if you ask me what beer you want to drink today, I'll let you know which one.
Okay.
It's also available at the Wasatch Brew Pub up on Main Street in Park City. And we should see it at the Sugar House location in the next week.
Okay, great. And like you mentioned, it's a pale ale with some wheat and mosaic and Sabro hops, and sounds delicious. Can't wait to try it. The brew day, then you said you had brewers from Wasatch and then a couple of the Pink Boots members as well. That had to be pretty fun to kind of get to collaborate that way as well.
Yeah, it's super nice to kind of have those, again, just that outlet, that space to be around each other and discuss, tangible ideas of what we want to see happen and how we're going to help make that happen, and how people like you and the people watching this can help make that happen too. So it was a really great day.
Yeah. Another cool aspect of Brave Noise is in order to be able to brew the beer, breweries had to kind of commit to establishing a code of conduct if they didn't already have one, and making it publicly available. Can you talk a little bit about the code of conduct policy or whatever that you guys have drafted?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a very clear outline of the expected behaviors of our guests, our employees, our vendors, anyone that is, working as a representative or on our properties. Just kind of the expectations of not being discriminatory, zero tolerance policies towards harassment, that sort of thing. So just the expected behaviors that we want, the behaviors that we won't tolerate.
And I have to say, just to interject, this was very, I don't want to say easily accepted, but widely accepted, because it took a lot. Libby went through a lot to get this accomplished. But we were quick to bring this beer in and say that we want to be a part of the movement, and just to get it through our, everyone in the behind the scenes was really eager to make everything run smoothly, no problem in terms of approvals and making sure that our company was on board with it. We were supported, male, female, anything that lies in between. So everyone was really excited for Libby to make this happen, and she did a lot of hard work to get everything under our belt, because Brave Noise, thankfully, is really strict with the way that this goes and the code of conduct and how we project this into the world, not just that anyone can do it. So you do have to do a lot of legwork to get this through. And with good reason, because they want to make sure that you're not doing it for publicity reasons or because it looks good for your brand or your company, but because you actually are enacting these now moving forward. So we will have it on if it's not already on our menus with the full code of conduct. We'll have that posted on our restaurants and our breweries, and make sure that it's a movement that we continue with going forward.
That's great to hear. That's awesome. Very cool. Okay, switching gears a bit. Wasatch Brewery is celebrating its 35th anniversary in 2021. So congratulations on that. And it sounds like you've got some special things planned. Maybe Kristen, you can talk a little bit about what's been going on this month and then the event that's coming up.
So yes, 35 years is a big deal. We started in 1986 with Greg Scherf coming here from, if you haven't heard the story, he was a Midwestern boy, came here eager to drink some really good beer, couldn't find any. So he broke a lot of, not broke a lot of laws, but tried to get a lot of laws to be passed because none existed to allow craft brewers. So he was the first in Park City. Then Squatters obviously followed just 3 years after. But he did a lot of, again, legwork just to get that passion of beer brewing across. And now, 35 years later, we want to celebrate his legacy. So we have a recent partnership with Ski Utah, and we're doing some giveaways. We did two so far, big ski giveaways. One was an interconnect tour with Ski Utah. One was a Stio kit, so like, just worked out and all the gear for Stio. And so those were the past 2 Fridays, and then we'll do another one this Friday, which is the actual day of the anniversary.
Okay.
So we have different specials going on right now with like throwback kind of beers that our brewmaster Nils is brewing up to kind of bring back like those old beers that we all know and love. And Libby can rattle off the full list, but one of them is like bobsled. I know is right now he's got a Kolsch, right? He's got you can go on about those in a second. Where are they?
What are some of the throwbacks?
Yeah, so I actually have all of them on tap at the West Side Tavern. He did do the collab Kolsch, the bobsled brown ale I just tapped over this weekend, and it's delicious. He did another one of the kickbacks, the American Craft Lager, which is one of my favorites. We'll have that available. I feel like there is one more I'm missing, but yeah, still a lot of great options, and $3.50 for a 12-ounce pour. So
right, so it's $3.50, kind of mimicking the 35 for 12 ounce, and that's been going on all month. Then on Friday, the 22nd, which is this Friday, we'll have 35% off appetizers. We'll also be giving away t-shirts for the first 50 people walking through the door on Friday, the 22nd. So we've got some really cool swag. I absolutely love these t-shirts. So come really soon and get your, like 12
That's at the brew pub in Park City is where
at Park City and down Sugar House. So Sugar House and Park City will both be doing 35% off apps and that giveaway. And we will just be celebrating. A bunch of the staff is going to go up on Friday and just be there to like throw beers out to people in the street in Park City, Park City location. We were hoping to get like one of those t-shirt like slingshots where we could like slingshot.
Oh, that would be cool.
Like shoot out at people. Apparently a t-shirt shooter is like $700. We're like, maybe not. Like it's ridiculous. But
sorry, I'll be out there on the patio throwing them out.
So we'll just ball them up and like throw them out to people passing by. So definitely be one of those people. It's just really good way to celebrate, and this is kind of reflective to the upcoming year with our partnership with Ski Utah. We're going to be doing a lot of really cool things with them. They're just like, it makes the most sense for this partnership because Greg probably came out here because he was mostly a ski bum. Like, why do people come to Park City? So this partnership it's really awesome that we get to now do a lot of really cool things with Ski Utah and give a lot of really cool things away.
Oh, that sounds like a great time. So, and the actual event then is going to be on Saturday?
Friday.
Oh, Friday. Yeah. Okay.
So the day of, so we originally we're going to do like one big event, but we've kind of been doing it a month-long session with the giveaways and with that final giveaway on. So that one has been on Instagram. If you're following us if you're not following us on Instagram, please go and do so. I know you are, but to the masses, at Wasatch Beers. And we're doing the giveaways there. So we've got one more coming up. It's going to be a good one. And all you have to do is basically it's the easiest way to, submit your contest. It's like you tag a friend, like your ski buddy or your favorite beer or Park City memory, that sort of thing.
Gotcha. So Friday the 22nd is the 35% off and the t-shirts and throwback beers and everything. Yep. Cool.
Throwback beers all month.
Awesome.
Go get them now if you want.
Neat.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. So in addition to the release of Brave Noise and Wasatch's 35th anniversary, anything else that Wasatch Squatters has going on right now that you'd like to mention or plug?
Well, we do have the new beers for squatters. So don't forget about 147 West and Hazy Hop Rising. and the addition of pink cans for the Hop Rising line. So we went pink with the Hop Rising, originally green. Now for October, all 5 cents of each can goes towards ACS, towards breast cancer research. So make sure you drink beer for booze.
Okay.
Beer for booze, right? Can't go wrong.
Nope. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that 147 West, the Broadway hop one is a
Yep.
delicious beer. I've been drinking a fair share of that one lately.
Good.
So,
Awesome.
And also get it now because this may not come back. It's a rotating series. It's a rotating pack. So the next one is gonna. It's like a kind of like a try. It's every 4 months. A tri-annual. I was gonna say
Okay.
quarterly, but it's like a tri-ly. I don't know.
Okay.
A trimester.
trimester every 4 months.
Yeah.
All right.
So get it now. It might not come back.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Anything else before we wrap up this virtual tap room?
It is fresh hop season, so if you haven't
Oh.
tried Clothing Optional, we do have that still pouring. We partner up with the Summit Land Conservatory every year, Forage for Wild Hops. So it's always really amazing to see what Nils can do with, foraged wild hops. They're not really, you don't have a lot of control over the flavors there, but he made a really killer beer this year. So make sure you grab some of that before it's gone too.
And there's a cool story behind that because I actually went out and picked the hops from like the miners up here in Park City. Must have been a bunch of drunks because there are hops all over Park City. And I've been telling people, I'm like, did you know that there's hops like right in our backyard? And nobody really knows it until you see it. And then you
Yeah.
can't not see it. And it's
Right.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
Went out, picked the hops, and that's what's in these beers. So it couldn't get more local than that.
No, yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I did that 2 or 3 years ago. I did the hops harvest, and it's just a cool experience to see these wild hops growing. And I wrote an article about it, and if I'm not mistaken, it had something to do with brothels back in the day. So there's some history there.
Yeah, enough said.
Yep. So cool. All right. Well, Libby and Kristen, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with Utah Beer News at our virtual tap room. And I'm excited to try Brave Noise beer and celebrate Wasatch's 35th anniversary. So thanks again.
Thank you, Tim.